Hey lovelies, I know how important it is to all of you to be able to get a healthy, hearty meal on the table on a busy weeknight, but also how difficult it can be to do so. So today I have 3 15-minute meal ideas that are totally effortless, but really delicious. We're kicking things off today with a wonderful salmon en papillote, which basically means salmon cooked in a little parchment paper packet. These are really easy to put together. I am getting started with some parchment paper squares. In the center of each, I am going to pile in some asparagus that's been chopped, some trimmed green beans, and I also have some snap peas. I am obsessed with the snap in snap peas, so irresistible. I'm also then going to place a salmon fillet in the center of my veggies. Now, you always have the option, if you don't want to make this with salmon, to use some halibut instead, or any firm white fish. This is really, really versatile, so most types of fish will work in this recipe. In terms of seasoning, we are keeping things really simple with a little bit of garlic powder, some salt, and some pepper, and that's because most of our amazing flavor is going to come from some fresh herbs. In this case, I've got some chopped parsley, dill, and chives that are going in here. I'll finish these off by arranging a few lemon slices on top, and then it's just a matter of folding my parchment paper over and up the sides until I create this nice little packet that is going to trap all of that steam and help cook our veggies and our salmon in less than 15 minutes. What's not to love about that? I'm going to make a few more packets and then I'll arrange them all on a baking sheet and get them into the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for between maybe 12 and 15 minutes, depending on how well done you like your salmon. These can be served immediately straight out of the oven. Just make sure to use caution when you're opening the little packets because of course they are full of very hot steam and you don't want to get burned. These papillote to save you a lot of time in the kitchen. Sorry. Next up, I think I may have found one of my new favorite weeknight dinner recipes. It's a Vietnamese inspired chicken salad, and it's traditionally served cold, but it's full of really hearty, healthy vegetables, so it's super filling. Now I have to say the real highlight in this dish is all about the sauce. It all starts with some fish sauce. Now, if you've never used fish sauce in cooking, it is a very traditional Vietnamese ingredient and it is wildly flavorful. If you can't wrap your mind around the fish sauce in this dressing, I understand. You always have the option to use a few tablespoons of soy sauce as an alternative, but I highly recommend you try the fish sauce. This recipe will make you a believer. To my fish sauce, I am going to add a splash of sesame oil, some rice vinegar, and a little bit of agave syrup for some sweetness. I'm also going to add some red chili, which is always optional. If you don't like the heat, you can leave that out. Once I've got my chilies into the bowl, I'm just going to grate in some garlic and some ginger. Don't put away your rasp just yet because our last ingredient in our dressing is going to be the zest and juice of 1 lime. I will just say this, there is a lot of happiness happening in this bowl. Once our dressing is all set in our bowl, we're gonna start adding our ingredients. So I've got my rice noodles going in. To that, I'm going to add my cooked shredded chicken. You always have the option to cook some chicken during your Sunday meal prep, or if you're in a real hurry, just stop by the supermarket on your way home and pick up a rotisserie chicken. Just pull it apart and then you can make this tasty recipe. I'm also going to add some finely chopped cabbage and some shredded carrot. And I'm gonna finish all of this off with some fresh herbs. So I've got some finely chopped coriander and some freshly chopped mint. Give everything a good toss so it's coated. And there you have it. This dinner came together in less than 15 minutes, and if I'm being honest, was actually gone in about the same time. Finally today, guys, we are making a brand new take on classic fried rice. This is a kimchi fried rice, and if you're not familiar with kimchi, you are missing out. This stuff is incredible. It's loaded with flavor, but it's also full of probiotic goodness, which of course is so good for your gut. I always recommend when you're making fried rice to use some leftover rice that's at least a day old. That will have given it a chance to dry out a little bit and you get a much nicer fried rice as far as I'm concerned. I'm getting started with a nice hot non-stick skillet on the stove. Non-stick, always critical in this kind of cooking because who needs more dishes? Nobody. I'm just going to heat some oil up over medium-high heat and then I'm going to fry up an onion. I'll cook my onion for 2 to 3 minutes or until it starts to soften up and become nice and translucent. Then it will be time to add my minced garlic to the pan. We'll give that garlic 30 seconds or so to get nice and happy, and then it will be time to add our cooked rice to the pan and our kimchi. Give this all a good stir, and then I'm going to season it up really simply with just a little splash of soy sauce. That kimchi is loaded with all sorts of great flavor, so you don't really need much in the way of seasoning. I'm going to finish this by stirring in some green onion, and then it can be removed from the heat and enjoyed right away. I like serving this fried rice with a nice soft boiled egg, but you always have the option to add some cooked chicken here, or some cooked shrimp, or even some tofu. I really hope you'll give all 3 of these tasty recipes a try, and if you do, be sure to tweet me, Instagram me, or Snapchat me a photo, because as always, I love seeing your kitchen creations. Speaking of kitchen creations, if you have not had a chance yet to check out my brand new Better Than Takeout episode over on Food Network's YouTube channel, I really hope you will. It is my warm potato and salmon salad, and I have to say, it is one of my all-time favorite recipes. Definitely worth a click. I will link it in the description box below if you want to take a look. Finally, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe because there is lots more deliciousness where this came from.